Every transgression of the law merits condemnation. These idiots quite nonsensically see high mystery in the word law. The same lack of sense is found in their statements about venial sin. They call venial sin both secret ungodliness, which contravenes the first table of the law, and the open transgression of the last commandment. Their definition goes like this: venial sin is evil desire without deliberate consent, and which does not long remain in the heart. I would argue, on the contrary, that no evil desire can enter the heart except when we fail to do what the law requires. The law forbids us to have alien gods. So when the soul is tempted to distrust God and looks uncertainly this way and that, when it is moved to seek its happiness elsewhere than in God, where do such impulses, however faint, come from, if not from some emptiness in the soul which is open to such temptations? And to avoid the need for more elaborate proofs, we are commanded to love God with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our mind. Which is why, if all the powers and parts of the soul are not focused on the love of God, we fall short of obedience to the law. For when temptation, which is hostile and opposed to God's dominion, is strong enough to shake us or to insinuate, however slightly, that God should not be fully obeyed and His will wholeheartedly accepted, it is a sign that His rule is not strongly established in our conscience. Further, as we have shown, it is to this that the last commandment really points. Has our heart already felt the sting of some evil desire? Then already we stand condemned of covetousness, and therefore of transgression of the law. For the Lord has forbidden not only any scheme or device which may cause our neighbor loss, but anything which might arouse or inflame covetousness in us. Now where there is transgression of the law, there God's curse impends. Hence not even the smallest stirrings of covetousness should be exempt from the penalty of death. Let those who disagree tell me what is meant by these words of Christ. He who has broken one of the least of the commandments, and has taught men so, will count for nothing in the kingdom of heaven. Are not these men among them, when they thus venture to play down transgression of the law as if it did not deserve death? They should consider not only what is commanded, but who it is who commands. There is no transgression, however minor, which does not detract from God's authority. Is it a small thing, in their view, that His majesty should be in some way infringed? If the Lord, moreover, disclosed His will in the law, anything which contravenes the law is displeasing to Him. And do they think that God's wrath is so feeble and disarmed that vengeance does not immediately follow? He has, in fact, spoken very clearly, if only they could bring themselves to hear His voice rather than obscure His truth by their clever little tricks. The soul that sins, He says, will surely die. Again, the wages of sin is death. These people admit that covetousness is sin, since they cannot deny it. Yet they assert that it is not mortal sin. Now, given that they have long held fast to their folly, let them now at least repent. But if they insist on persevering in their stubbornness, God's children should leave them to their own devices and realize that all sin is mortal, for it is rebellion against God's will and must inevitably provoke His wrath. This is because it involves transgression of the law, on which God pronounces, without exception, eternal death. As for the sins which the saints and believers commit, they are surely venial, although that comes about by God's mercy and not on account of their nature.